Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, August 8th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you were someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. A couple of quick clarifications. First one, this candlestick you see right there will still be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, NKTR. Big mover today, massive volume, so you got to think a lot of people will be watching this one headed into Tuesday. So let's get some levels of support and resistance mapped out. So main level of resistance, at least in my opinion, headed into Tuesday right there at that red line, which is valued at the $1.10 mark. So keep an eye on $1.10 moving forward. And yes, as I speak right now, a bit of a pullback right here. Nothing drastic, nothing massive. In fact, as I draw that, I mean, if you wanted to, you could call that a little miniature bull flag pattern that is formed, but that's not really where I was headed. Wanted to more so map out where some of these levels of support could potentially be for you pullback players. First interesting level of support right there at the 95-cent mark. And then another interesting level if you want to play a little bit more of a deeper pullback down there around the 89-cent mark. So keep an eye on those from the pullback standpoint. But yeah, like I said, sort of an accident when I just drew in that little pullback there. So depending on how you want to look at it, if you're a very near-term player, then yeah, you got yourself a nice little bull flag pattern there. But if you want to play more so overall breakout areas, and keep an eye on $1.10, and these make for a couple of interesting pullback areas. So if you like stocks down below $2, I would definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, VTGN, and this one was an absolute monster today, especially in pre-market. Went from like $2 up to, I forget what it was, something crazy. Did it hit 60 in pre-market? Anyways, it was absolutely crazy action, and still a lot of people watching it, this one. And it's settled down now, but in quote-unquote settling down, it's formed a couple key levels that I think a lot of people will be watching. And when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So the first level that you got to think a lot of people are watching is right down here at the $11 mark. Nothing fancy or complicated behind it, but just the fact that, you know, right down here you can see found some support. So I can understand the logic, and because people are wrong, people think, well, if it goes down there, I can see it being some sort of double bottom and bouncing back upwards. Is that guaranteed to happen? Of course not. There are no guarantees. But is that a plausible, is that a, you know, a rational thought process of what could potentially happen? Yeah, absolutely. It's got a track record of doing it. So, you know, it's valid to think that I could potentially do it again. But if it does not do that, then you got to think that there's probably going to be a lot of shorts that are looking to play some sort of break to the downside. Somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong in that situation, but that's why risk management matters. But the core point here is that you got to think a lot of people will be watching that $11 mark from the support standpoint. And then as far as areas of resistance, again, nothing fancy or complicated here, but right up here around that $19 mark seems to be a key level, as it, you know, that's right where the price got rejected from here. So maybe the long way, this is my long way of just saying, as of right now, a sideways channel pattern where you have the price entering in the channel right there, and now it's just been kind of bouncing around. So it's really just a question of, does it do something like this moving forward, or does it break out in one direction or the other? Nobody knows that, but you got to think a lot of people are watching those two levels, which create those potential self-fulfilling prophecy type moves. Next one, NKLA, brutal move here as it opened up and then just really got, you know, destroyed to the downside. And I don't say it's a bad day in the sense of, you know, yes, because it was so red, that does make it a rough day. But more so from a technical point of view, the price is now broken down below that pink line there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average. And as I squeeze things down here, you're going to see that it has been a very, very long time. Oh, wow. Yeah, when was the last time the price? Oh, wow. Okay, the last time the price was down below here was back in early June. You can see right here through the history of things. Nice bounce off it. Essentially a bounce off it right there. A couple more bounces off it there and there. But yeah, today did not happen, broke down, and that really opened up the floodgates. So that's the overall context. Now, is the overall chart absolutely destroyed? It's not. I mean, it is still technically in a overall uptrend, but there are definitely some, kinks in the armor now, and things are not looking nearly as good. To be fair, there is a nice little upwards channel here that has formed. However, from the bigger picture point of view, if you ask yourself, well, what was going on before this bounce? Well, you had this big move down right here. So in all actuality, I've now drawn a bear flag pattern. Now, just like if something's bullish, in a bullish pattern does not mean the price is going to go up. Same is true for a bearish pattern. Just because something's in a bearish pattern does not mean it's going to go up. But my point here is that, sure, give credit where credit's due. There is a nice little bounce here, but don't get too excited with it, because I don't think anybody would be shocked to see this thing, roll back over and get the bearish breakdown. So yeah, overall today, very rough one. Next one, SVFD. Did I say that right? Yeah, SVFD, and have ourselves a nice little pattern here. So let's get this pattern drawn into play. First part of the pattern is this nice little support portion of it. And then as far as the resistance portion of it, I guess it's not as nice. Yeah. What are people? Okay. Maybe not as nice, because now I'm confused. Now that I look at it, are people going to, I don't know. I think a lot of people, maybe that stands out most to people. I'm always trying to figure out, what do I think most people are looking at? So I'm going to go ahead with that guess. But if you're like, no, Clay, I would use another part of the chart, I completely understand. So maybe not as clean as what I thought it was at first glance. But nonetheless, still, you got to think a lot of people are watching these couple of areas. But overall, nonetheless, however you want to look at it, there is this wedge dynamic that has formed, which makes for an interesting situation moving forward into Tuesday in terms of who's going to win out. Are the bears going to win with a break to the downside, or the bulls going to win with a break to the upside? That remains to be seen. But if you like these sorts of wedge patterns, you like stocks down below $5, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol MF, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video on Friday, but I talked about this pattern here and specifically talked about that area as resistance right there at the $2.40 mark. And a basic rule in technical analysis is that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So check this out here. Price broke below it, pulled back, and then look right where the price started to go sideways at, right at that level right there. So the power of charts. Are charts perfect? No, nothing is perfect, but they're certainly a valid tool. I'll get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. So yes, more of the story moving forward now. $2.40 is now the newest area of support. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, that level right there, got to think quite a few people are watching it. So you have a potential self-fulfilling prophecy break right up there around the $3.05 mark, give or take a little bit. And then just from a pattern standpoint, if we want to try to quick draw something in there, so we have our resistance, we have our support. You have the nice move up right there. Let's put the golf hole down here, make it a little bit more visual, and we have ourselves a nice bull pennant pattern. Real quick, want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering in a couple of days here later this week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, AMC, and as I just talked about in the previous one, the foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. So last week talked about that 508 mark being a key level of resistance, but with the price breaking above it this morning, price came up here, pulled back, and right there again, classic example, resistance turning into support. So I'll turn that into another quick little advertisement. Go get signed up for that free training. I mean, charts really are a great tool to use, and you have a real life example of that right there. So 508, newest area of support. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level to watch now going to be right there at that resistance line right there, which puts the breakout point right up there around $5.20. And then once again, from a pattern standpoint, resistance, support, nice upwards move there. Golf hole down here, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Next one here, PLTR. Rough day, but to give some credit where credit's due, a very impressive bounce when you stop to think about the fact that at one point the price was all the way down here, but now the price has been able to, fight back all the way there. In fact, the last 30 minutes, you can see right there, good solid volume bar, nice little green candle there forming. So overall, good recovery, but the downtrend continues, and the level here that I think a lot of people are going to be watching, just because, once again, I think a lot of people have probably noticed this. Maybe you've noticed it yourself. Maybe you have already drawn in this same level, but you have a pretty well-defined trend line right there, which makes us very interested headed into Tuesday, because you can see now the price is actually very close within striking distance, which leads to a more than valid question and an exciting question. That question is a breakout going to occur? And if that breakout does occur, then you have the secondary question: is that going to be a kind of a spark of momentum that creates just that much more overall buying pressure? So definitely an interesting scenario here, and that's what a watch list is all about: to find interesting, to find unique situations, and not rush out and randomly start buying stuff, but to watch it and see what happens. And that's again what we have. Well, I don't know. That's up to you. If you don't find this very interesting or exciting, then yeah, you clearly won't have this one on your watch list. But I know a lot of people do like to play potential trend line breakouts, and that's what this one is giving you as the price approaches that key level. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and talked about this one earlier. Should have probably put it at a different location. So yes, to give credit's due, very, very nice bounce here from the lows. But again, from an overall standpoint, you got to ask yourself, well, what was going on before this bounce? Well, you had this big downwards move here. So yes, if you were to push me into a corner and say summarize Tesla very quick, I would say bear flag pattern on the 30-minute time frame. But as I talked about earlier, just because something's bearish does not mean it will for sure go back downwards. I'm just saying is don't get overly excited about that bounce. Yes, it's bounce, or yes, it's a good bounce, and it is a bullish bounce. But like I said, don't get overly excited because it's technically just forming a bear flag pattern. The next, and I should say the big true test moving forward, is going to be all about the purple line right there, that 50-period moving average. So keep a close eye on that moving forward. If the price does roll back over and come back down, then the key area that I think a lot of people will be watching right there at the 245 mark. So 245 key level of support if this thing does roll back over. But yeah, nice bounce. Can this bounce build upon itself moving into Tuesday? We'll see what happens. Next one here, AAPL, Apple. Maybe you've heard of it, and I say that jokingly, but also because it does illustrate a key concept with this one. Apple, very, very well-known stock, and when you have lots of people watching the same stocks, you can get some of those good quality self-fulfilling prophecies. And what I find interesting about this one is that the price, after a very nasty opening 30 minutes, has started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price, or a price, starts to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed it's the bottom and for sure guaranteed the price is going to stop going down. My point here is that does it become plausible? Does it become a little bit more rational to think, okay, maybe just maybe this thing is done going down and a bottom is in? And in my opinion, yeah, absolutely, that makes more sense given the price has at least started to go sideways. Again, does not mean this is for sure the bottom. It just becomes a more plausible scenario. So right here, 177.35 is going to be that key level of support, and important for no simple reason other than, well, if this is some sort of bottom forming, well then you don't want to see the price going any lower, right? Because that would be the exact opposite of what the bottom is if this thing all of a sudden breaks to the downside. So 177.35 key level there, support-wise, and then resistance-wise, little interesting downwards trend line right there. But yeah, let's see if this bottom is, at least a temporary bottom, because when you got a lot of people watching a popular stock, any sort of upwards movement gives people the excuse to buy. People love to buy Apple, so it can, present interesting trading opportunities. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise, and it's just a very popular ETF that's out there. And again, not to pat myself on the back, but definitely to pat charts on the back and turn it into, again, a quick little plug for that class. Go get signed up for it. For those of you that watched the video from Friday, you know that I've been talking about that $41 mark. I mean, check it out. You just can't make this stuff up. Price started up, came down, and then two candles in a row, both there and there, found support before getting a very nice bounce. So far so good. $41 has held as support, and moving into Tuesday, that level remains a very key level of support, especially when you look at it from a bigger picture. You can see it just held on to it, back over here too. So $41 is going to be that main area of support. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, good to see that as of right now, the price has broken up through that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So a breakout is underway, which brings about the exciting question, okay, is this breakout the start of something much bigger? And if it is, then the next key level to watch from a resistance standpoint going to be right up here at $43.30. So keep an eye on that. But overall, no doubt about it, nice bounce. Very nice last 30 minutes, both there. And the nice thing about the 30 minutes was, sure, it was a big green candle, but it was also a big green candle that pushed through that 50-period moving average. So let's see if this is indeed the start of something bigger back to the upside. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for that free class. It'll be later this week, Thursday, August 10th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, please do two things for me. You guys have been doing a fantastic job with it. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today. But those two things communicate to me that you're enjoying, they help out the channel, and as long as I know you are enjoying, I'll continue to make these videos, and I thank you in advance for doing that. So get signed up for that free class, hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.